Oh, y'all, the drama behind Disney's Snow White remake is way messier than we thought. Word on the street is that Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot were not vibing on set. We're talking major tension, diva attitudes, and even a heated clash that had everyone buzzing. When we say they couldn't stand each other, we mean it. Let's start with Rachel. She thought she was about to silence the critics, but instead, sis just poured gasoline on the fire, and it blew up.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my craps and my quirks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see me.
In a now viral clip filmed from her bedroom, Rachel Zegler stared into the camera with a mix of frustration and defiance, essentially saying, "Y'all can stay mad, people still show up for me." Her tone teetered between raw vulnerability and sharp-edged attitude as she tried to defend herself and clap back at the relentless criticism that's haunted Snow White from the start. She may have thought she was reclaiming the narrative, but the internet had other plans. Within minutes, the clip spread like wildfire, turning X, formerly Twitter, into a full-blown spectacle. What was meant to be her redemptive moment turned into a digital disaster. Instead of sympathy, critics saw a meltdown gift wrapped in delusion. And then came the numbers. A reported $250 million budget versus a disappointing $43 million box office return. That's when the hashtag started trending snowflop. What could have been a heartfelt moment of honesty instead came off as tone-deaf, self-absorbed, and wildly disconnected from the reality of the film's reception. The backlash? Immediate and merciless. Review bombs hit hard, meme threads exploded, old interviews resurfaced like clockwork. It was as if the internet had just been waiting, and the second she hit post, the floodgates opened. What was supposed to be a fairy tale comeback quickly morphed into a digital witch trial. And in the court of public opinion, Rachel wasn't Snow White, she was the villain. People hadn't forgotten her past comments where she mocked the original Snow White, called it weird and creepy, and dismissed the classic prince storyline as outdated. The receipts were ready, and the internet wasn't about to let her off the hook.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
When the box office numbers came in, the industry was shocked. Disney's live-action Snow White remake opened to just $45 million, a far cry from The Little Mermaid's $95 million debut. For a Disney princess film, this kind of flop was unheard of. The fallout was immediate. Major theater chains began reducing Snow White's screen presence, some even removing it entirely. And when Disney can't save its own film, you know something has gone seriously wrong. Oscar tension and industry. Whispers. Then came the Oscars. And the vibes between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler were icy. On the red carpet, Gal barely looked at Rachel. Their body language? Cold. Insiders say Gal has been distancing herself from the film and from Rachel ever since. While Rachel's career has been struggling, Gal is thriving, booking roles, signing deals, and staying far from the drama. Rachel set out to modernize Snow White, aiming for a feminist retelling. But her comments, mocking the 1937 original, rolling her eyes at the romance, and vowing her version would be nothing. Like it sparked backlash. What was meant to be empowering came across as arrogant, even disrespectful. Disney's core audience, parents, kids, nostalgic fans, turned against her. People weren't just skipping the movie, they felt personally insulted. The internet turns, and Hollywood Listen's old clips of Rachel shading the classic went viral. Instead of support, there was silence from co-stars and creatives. No tweets, no defense, no solidarity. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled that studios were pulling back. Projects Rachel had lined up quietly dropped, marketing teams nervous. Could she still carry a film? In Hollywood, perception is everything. Once seen as the next date girl, Rachel began to look like a cautionary tale. Production chaos and on-set drama. But this isn't all on Rachel. The film itself was a mess. Delays plagued production, and the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike ground things to a halt. By the time the movie was ready, the public had already moved on. Casting Rachel sparked controversy, some of it racially charged, but much of it focused on whether she truly fit the role. Then there was the Seven Dwarfs backlash, when leaked photos revealed Disney had hired average-sized actors. The response? Outrage. Disney backpedaled, opting for CGI instead, but the damage was done. Oh, and a literal fire broke out on set at Pinewood Studios. If that's not a bad omen. Reports suggest things boiled over when Rachel backed out of a planned appearance on The View, where she was meant to appear with Gal to present a united front. Her absence reportedly did not sit well with Gal, who had already grown tired of the drama. And yet, through it all, Gal has kept things graceful. She said nothing negative publicly, just focused on the joy of playing the evil queen, praising the glam, the music, and the chance to do something different. If she's frustrated, she's hiding it well. Disney is trying to reframe the conversation. Instead of pushing Rachel as the face of the film, trailers and marketing now highlight the film's modern message and diverse cast. It's a calculated shift aimed at distracting from the controversy, but fans haven't forgotten. Many still feel Rachel dismissed a beloved classic. And Disney's decision to take such a bold departure from the source material alienated the very fans who usually show up on opening weekend, buy the merch, and visit the parks. Other stars, different outcomes. Disney has dealt with backlash before. Emma Watson, for example, faced criticism about Beauty and the Beast and the portrayal of Stockholm Syndrome. She leaned in, addressing concerns, and emphasized Belle's independence. Halle Bailey, cast as Ariel in The Little Mermaid, faced racist pushback, but both she and Disney stood firm. Halle stayed graceful, focused on representation, and Disney backed her completely. Rachel's situation is messier. Her controversy blends political discourse, public perception, and fan loyalty. Disney's reaction has been more muted, and that silence speaks volumes. The early box office numbers don't look good, and neither do the online ratings. There's no talk yet of sending it straight to streaming, but if the film continues to underperform, Disney may rethink its entire live-action remake strategy. As it stands, Snow White has become more cautionary tale than fairy tale. A mix of missteps, misreads, and mixed messaging have turned what should have been a surefire hit into one of Disney's most controversial releases. So, will Rachel bounce back? Is Gal secretly fed up? And can Disney still pull off a happy ending? Only time will tell.